If you're not getting enough clients as a freelance marketer or freelance copywriter, it's entirely possible that your prospects see you as a commodity. They see you as just someone who's going to put words on a page, and now you're competing with artificial intelligence. So, how are we going to help you stand out in the marketplace, get actual clients that are worth having, and grow your freelance business into either an agency model or a very strong freelance business in 12 months or less? I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and I'm going to share with you one of the many ways of doing this. Now, in the podcast, we've covered many strategies to help you turn your freelance business into a more automated income stream with better, higher quality customers and customers that are clients who pay, stay, and refer. Now, customers are just transactional. It's somebody who shows up, wants you to write a press release, wants you to write a few pay-per-click ads, wants you to write an article, and then they're done. They're going to come back and look for somebody else to write that next article. A client, on the other hand, has a residual relationship where either you're writing multiple articles for them, or they keep coming back over and over to do different things like lead generation pages and sales letters. Maybe you're writing larger packages for them. And this client is a more relationship where you're going to look out for their interests, you're going to look out for their needs. Now, a lot of freelance copywriters, freelance marketers, they say, Justin, I can't afford to pay a lot of attention to the clients. I kind of need to be in the transactional business so that you can make some money. I understand that completely. But in the transactional business, someone who comes along who is able and willing to create a relationship with a client is going to help solve some of the problems the clients have where they need to keep up with the marketplace. Maybe they don't understand the value of writing a sales letter and then driving leads into an email campaign before you drive them to the sales letter, so that in that email series you can invite that prospect back to the letter. Maybe they don't know about retargeting. Maybe they go straight to the sale from their ads, but they're only doing ads on one social media platform, and you could help them rewrite a campaign to serve multiple platforms and drive in. Maybe they're just chasing free advertising means. My point being is, if you don't understand the needs of the prospect, they aren't going to understand your value to them. They're going to see you as a commodity. They're not going to want to do business with you over anybody else, and you're going to be stuck. So, what do we do in order to start developing that client relationship, to start driving your cash flow as a freelance advertiser, as a freelance copywriter, as a freelance marketer? And how do we get you to the next level where we can start automating some of your sales funnel to bring in new clients, not just transactions, but build those relationships with clients who may even do retainer services with you, may hire you for a 12-month series of content. They might help write bigger sales letters or challenge their controls. How do we do that? First off, you have to do something that increases your client's value by a multiple of what they invest with you. Listen carefully. If you're selling $100 sales letter, okay, 100 US dollars or whatever the equivalent is in your country, and the customer comes to you and they want just a sales letter and they use that sales letter, it gets great results. Are they going to remember to come back to you? Is there a shocking outcome such as that $100 sales letter produces $10,000 or $50,000? Not likely, because what they're going to do is they're going to take the sales letter and they're going to do all the same dumb stuff they've done before. They're going to get the sales letter, they're going to put it on their website, and then they're going to cross their arms and wait for something to happen. They're thinking that organic traffic is going to come in because the sales letter is search optimized. They think they're going to have a windfall with this one letter. Maybe it was the last $100 they have. They scraped together $100, they Hail Married with you to write them a sales letter, and now they're broke and disappointed. See, they're not going to get the results because they don't know to invest the lead flow into the letter. If I write a letter for a client and they aren't going to put $10,000 into driving traffic to it, now they don't have to spend all the money at once, but what they pay with my writing a letter for them could be $10,000, could be $20,000, but it doesn't just go on a shelf, because we have talked about, okay, how are you currently driving leads? What does your mailing list look like? What do your customer segmentation look like? What does the inbound look like? Do you have a call center? Are you going to actively promote this letter? Are we A/B splitting it against an existing letter? If you're going to A/B split it, how much traffic would we get on each side? When can we estimate a break even? How much do we need to get for a break even? What's your current cost per lead? We have a consultation that, of course, the client pays to receive. So we don't chat on the phone and say, oh, yeah, maybe you need a sales letter. We do a diagnostic to understand what exactly does that prospect need. I've had somebody come to me and say, I'd like to get a new sales letter and I'd like it to test against this sales letter. And they give me a link. And I say, great, how much traffic does this sales letter get? Because I want to understand the composition of people who are converting at this sales letter. And they say, well, it gets about 1,000 unique visitors. I say, great, is that daily? Oh, no, that's total. So this letter's been up for 6 months. It has 1,000 unique visitors. And it's just there. I say, great. How many sales? What hasn't produced any sales? So they want me to beat that sales letter, which has never produced any sales, which took a whole month to get 1,000 unique visitors to, which is not bad, but they have no sales. Actually, it took them 6 months to get to 1,000 unique visitors. But even if it was a month, it had no sales. So what are we beating here? We don't know who buys. We don't know anything else other than what's going on in the sense of this letter. But this letter isn't being seen by anybody who could make a decision. We don't know the composition of traffic because their Google Analytics wasn't set up correctly, because they aren't getting demographic information, because they aren't driving traffic to that particular page. They're in fact just kind of letting traffic come to it by all these different means that there's no cookies and tracking. Can you see how frustrating it can be when you're trying to get a client to the results level when they don't understand the basics about what you're doing? And you're right to say, well, I don't have time to educate them, because it does take time to educate them. And so again, the lesson here is paid consultation. That paid consultation is about establishing, do you have metrics? Okay, you don't have metrics. We're going to help you set up the metrics. Do you know who your customer is? No, you don't know who your customer is. Let's write a customer avatar. They might say, I know who my customer is, and here's a list of them, and here's who's bought the product in the last 12 months. Now you might take it to a list service and kind of get a target audience, or you might help them set up the retargeting. Now, if you don't understand these different elements, because really you're just starting out in freelance copywriting, you can actually hire an agency like mine where we white label. We work on the back end to help you get those items. We'll help you in the sales process and everything too. But the underlying point is you'll be more educated about who converts and who doesn't, so you can write meaningful copy that multiplies the value of the investment that your client makes into you. The clients will not always effectively implement what you teach them. They won't always effectively implement what you write for them. And therefore, they're not going to get any value. So in their brain, they're paying for something rather than investing in an outcome. This is critically important. See, you're going to offer them the outcome on your sales letters. You're going to offer them the outcome when you schedule the appointment. You're going to discuss what they're looking to achieve. And then you're going to backfill the context in the diagnostic to determine whether or not you can achieve it, whether the opportunity is there or not. If that client said, hey, this sales letter gets 1,000 unique visitors a day, it has an 18% conversion rate, and the typical client is X. That's a whole different client. That's actually a really nice client, but that's a whole different client. That's a different approach. That's writing a sales letter that you can actually learn something from, so that you can more effectively help them multiply the value of the investment they make in you. Think about what they're paying you as an investment they're making, and your sole purpose is to get them back a multiple, 10 times multiple, 100 times multiple. I've worked with a client that hired me for 6 months. So we started out with a small engagement, about a week long, and I went down and deep dived into their business. I looked at what types of customers are profitable, what types of products and services they can deliver, and we were developing a marketing plan. And so by the end of the week, we had together an outline for a marketing plan, and now we have to start testing assumptions. Well, in a 6-month period, we not only tested assumptions, but we added $7 million in potential billing to their business. It was $1.2 million in money in their hands. Now, again, it doesn't matter what that number is to you. They were paying me a whole lot more than what you might be getting paid if you're just starting out with these techniques. But you have to understand, there's 100 times multiple, a 300 times multiple that you're producing. What do you think happens with that client? Well, that client falls in love with you. They recommend other people to you. You're become their closely guarded secret, the secret sauce to grow in their business. If in 6 months we can bring in $1.2 million in cash, $7 million in total contracts, this was a government contractor, and we can have systems in place to get the results. Do you think they might pay $10,000, $50,000, $200,000, $500,000? See, the secret here to go from a freelance copywriter to a marketing agency to somebody who's a highly valued business development professional is to help your client use their customers' money to help you make them more money. It's like a infinity circle. So essentially, clients are not going to implement what you tell them. So if they hire you for a strategy session and you write up something for them, they're not necessarily going to do it. Again, they may not have the skill set to make it work. They may be diluting the skills that they have and not being able to focus. They may try it haphazardly and not invest enough in the marketing budget because they don't understand their customers. They don't understand their cost per lead, and they may quit early for the next shiny object. And then again, they're going to look at you as a commodity. They're going to look at you as the next person on a list in a Fiverr listing. They're going to look at finding someone different because you didn't produce any results for them when in fact they didn't do half of what you offered them. They didn't know the value that you delivered for them. They didn't understand how that sales letter fit in a lead generation, following a lead generation campaign, and in between that in a customer relationship building campaign. And so when you do work for them, you may need to set minimum spends. You may need to qualify that prospect so that when they hire you for a sales letter, when they hire you for a landing page, when they hire you for 12 social media posts, when they hire you for 12 articles that go into a newsletter, when they hire you for content on their website, they're plugging that into a system of outcomes so that they get better, bigger results. So it doesn't matter how much they pay you. If you're giving them a 10 times multiple and they pay you $1,000 for a sales letter, and within the first month, within the first 6 months, they produce $10,000, they haven't paid you anything. They've in fact invested in an asset that cash flows for their business. Now, if you want to design these programs for your clients, because sometimes it takes a little bit more design, and you want to build up a high upside value for the clients, which includes demonstrating to them the value, which again, you have to understand their price per sale, their customer lifetime value, so that you can show them how what you did created great results. Even if it just breaks even, then contact my office and we'll help you build out that kit. We have in the Platinum program, we have a number of kits available that we've worked over the years, and we can adapt one of those perfect for your business so that when you go sit down with a client, you're now talking about value position. You're not just writing a sales letter, you're helping them create an asset that cash flows. You're not just taking their money, because that's one of their biggest fear, that you're going to take their money and they're just going to give them another piece of content that doesn't do anything. Instead, you're going to be helping them build marketing systems. You're going to be able to help them monetize new opportunities in their business, test campaigns, zero in on profitable customers, and then we can show you how to do that by doing it with your own business if that's something that you're growing into as far as a skill set. Because I do understand a lot of freelance copywriters think the money is in writing the copy. That's not where the money is. You have to write the right copy for the right buyers. You have to make sure the campaigns get implemented. You got to make sure the client actually uses what you give to them, and then ultimately deliver to them something in their mind that has competitive advantage. Now they're going to attribute that competitive advantage to you as the copywriter who wrote the campaign. And of course, we can help you build that out. We can help you structure your business so that you are doing discovery calls and paid consultations rather than writing up work or writing specification work. We want you to be in a situation where instead of transactional clients, you're building residual revenue with clients who pay, stay, and refer, larger assignments, assignments that are on your terms, because even if you do get like a large assignment that might take 4 or 5 months, you want to be able to parse that out in pieces according to your availability. Also, we want to build on the skill set that you have today because I know a lot of subscribers and a lot of the folks listening to this podcast are freelance copywriters who think they want to improve their skills. That's fine. Improving your skills is necessary. Learning storytelling methods, writing better headlines, it's all necessary. But in a world with artificial intelligence and a world where there's already better copywriters out there struggling, because you could be a great copywriter today, but if you don't have any clients, you will struggle. You could leverage your position and develop business in your industry and bring on all these so-called competitors and the best copywriters out there, bring them on as subs, help that client with a larger structure that helps them, again, whatever they invest in you, get 100 times multiple, 10 times multiple, and then demonstrate to them how to measure so that they know that you didn't just bring them copy. You didn't just write words on a page. You delivered to them clients, customers, revenue, free net cash flow, profitable customers, and help them grow their business. Now, there will be a point where you're going to help clients put on $1 million, $2 million, and a lot of my clients have high ticket items. So, to be able to put on $1.2 million in 6 months of money received, they had 16 or 17 employees. And so they're out doing jobs that are, $500,000, $75,000, $150,000. These are six-figure and better jobs. But again, when you set parameters for your clients, so maybe you only accept clients who have a marketing budget of $5,000 a month or greater. Maybe you only write sales letters for individuals who have a proven lead funnel. Whatever the qualifications are, you will get the results by default because you're going to set that client up in all the areas they don't understand, but you're going to set them up for measurable outcomes. Now, because of the Federal Trade Commission and advertising laws, you can't promise an outcome, but you can show them how to measure what they're getting right now, set up a plan to make it better, and then help them with the implementation, putting the copy in place where it needs to be, making sure the analytics is straight, and then ultimately deliver copy. Now, remember, you might do the graphics design and the copy, and you might do the landing page, but someone else is doing the analytics and the data mining and research for you. That's part of what we talk about here. If you're all out there all by yourself, you're missing on leveraging the talents of the people around you so that you can do larger, more lucrative jobs. But you keep the margin. These other people are just going to charge you what they charge you, and you keep the margin. And more importantly, write this down. You keep the value of the client. This client sees you. They understand that you multiplied their money. They didn't buy copy from you. They invested in the growth of their business. They didn't even have to pay you any money because the money came from the clients. I don't know how many times you guys have heard that, but somebody says, look, you write the copy and then I'll pay you after I get the money. Well, you still got to get the money up front, but you'll be able to show them not only you put out a little money up front. That's our investment to make sure you commit. Here's what I require of you as a client. And if you do your part and I do my part, you're going to get all your money back. Now, you can't promise them they're going to get all their money back because, again, you know as well as I do, you can write the very best copy in the world that they end up putting on a shelf somewhere and never using. Or they put it out there once and they never drive traffic to it. We still have the reality of clients who don't implement. But maybe you do the implementation for them. And now that's a value-added stream where you're now getting paid on a retainer. And now you're moving towards the agency model because frankly, your clients are busy. They're easily distracted. They have other problems in their business other than the marketing, and they're often spread too thin. So you could be a savior to their organization if you simply take a step away from being a commodity freelance copywriter to becoming an agency. And now again, our model of agency is small. Agency is more in your ability to serve the customer, your flexibility to bring on the right people and to connect the customer with the solutions that they're looking for. But the bottom line, folks, here is when you create measurable value for your client and they can bank on that value and they know that you help them with that value, you have a customer for life. You have a client who keeps coming back, somebody who pays, stays, and refers. Isn't that so much better than being another name in a directory somewhere or another name on a bidding site? And now you're spending more time writing proposals than actually serving clients? Let's flip the script. If you want help developing a package, and you don't need a lot of these packages, you can develop a package that's in your area of expertise, that it has clear definitions for the prospect, that establishes the criteria or the agreement that you're going to work on, that has some sort of paid consultation or diagnostic. And by the way, you can do a diagnostic call in a group of people on a webinar, and then you can follow up and do the sales to close things out. But if you want clients who pay, stay, and refer, then visit www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and say, I want more clients. Ask your questions and we'll get back with you. If you're in the Platinum program, we actually have packaged campaigns that help copywriters build a business. Freelance copywriting is okay as a side job. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's so many who want to graduate that don't know how. So that's why I wanted to share with you this today. Establishing your value, making it clear how it's measured, demonstrating that value, ultimately offering some kind of package that includes a paid consultation, and then using that consultation to help that client get something that gets measurable results. Now, you may not have confidence to deliver something that gets measurable results, but that's one of the reasons we build these packages, and one of the reasons we work with our copywriting clients and our marketing clients within the membership of the Ad Briefings uh, copywriting tips newsletter to again build an asset that cash flows. Now, again, this is a game changer when it comes to increasing your revenue, to making your revenue more consistent, more dynamic in its growth, so larger transaction size, and then ultimately getting that retention of a client instead of a transactional customer. You don't want the roller coaster income that comes with chasing and bidding and frustration. You want clients who pay, stay, and refer. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefings Copywriting Tips, and this has been our podcast. We have a number of free resources to get you started, but more importantly, become a member. Join us as a member. It supports the podcast. And plus, we get on group calls. We do a lot of work together to help you have these things. Because a lot of times when you're in the freelance world, it's pretty distracting. But again, what I'm going to do for you, you can do for your clients and start getting 5-figure deals, 6-figure deals. And nobody complains about how much they're spending when they get a 10x, 100x, 1000x multiple to the value you deliver them. And how do you get, let me just finish up this. How do you get a 1000x multiple? Well, again, it's that asset you built for their organization that they use year after year. It's a structure that helps them understand where sales are coming from. It's a profitable customer that has a multiple lifetime value. This is how we make a difference. And you can make a difference for your clients. And you can graduate from freelance copywriter, freelance marketer to even a small agency and now go to 7 figures, go to 8 figures and sustain that. I want to thank you for being a part of our podcast. Again, if you have any questions, this is a service that I deliver to those who listen to the podcast. And you can visit www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and ask your questions. If you're not already a member of our free newsletter, be sure to get a hold of that as well. Thanks for listening. I'm Justin Hitt.